Last night, I took one of my best friends in the world out to dinner for his birthday, and we went to a vegetarian place.
You did?
I did. And it was in Chicago called, should we say the name? I'm not sure if we're supposed to. Yes, we will. Called Mana Food Bar. Yes, and it was awesome because instead of having just a whole bunch of fake meat things and being like, here's the, quote, chicken sandwich, here's the, quote, meatloaf that was made with seitan and wheat and things that I don't want to eat more of and just a ton of tofu, they did actually really creative, delicious things with vegetables and grains and legumes.
Oh, it was so good. For those of you that have not picked up on it, I was her friend that had a birthday.
Could you figure that out?
It was really the most amazing restaurant because as a vegetarian, you walk in and you're often stuck with portobello mushroom burger, hummus, or some really ridiculous pasta dish. And that's it. They're really creative, really inventive. Like, it made me want to go back for more. And I felt so nourished because they also did really great food combining there. And that's the great thing you always want in like a really nice vegetarian restaurant, right? People can make creative dishes with really good food combined.
Totally. And it was small plates, so we got to share everything. And we had a lot of tastes of a lot of different things.
It was so good.
Welcome to another episode of You Won't Believe What I Ate Last Night. I'm Rick Fiore.
And I'm Kate DeVore, and this is our ongoing conversation about food, health, weight management, and our endeavor to be and stay healthy in a really tasty world.
Today, we're talking about inflammation. What is it? What causes it? And what makes it better? Also, do you remember when Popeye would eat his spinach and grow real strong? We're also talking about superfoods. Hey, Kate, aren't you doing a cleanse?
I am. It's a very gentle cleanse, and it's going really well.
Nice. That's great, because you know how I feel about cleanses. They're not big for me, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I know. It really does help me reset. But this one is a lot kinder and more actually like a real lifestyle than it is a cleanse. It's not nearly as intense or hardcore as a lot of the ones that I've done in the past.
What would you say is the biggest thing you sort of learned from it, or you're taking away from it?
Well, the thing that is the most pertinent to this conversation is that every cleanse I've done, this one is no exception, right around day 4, I noticed these really dramatic changes in my body. And it feels like I've lost 10 pounds. And, you know, people talk about water weight or whatever, and there may be something like to that, but I don't mean mass-wise. I mean, if I touch my body and just the way I feel internally, I just feel like I've lost a ton of weight. I feel like my muscles are more relaxed. I always have tension around my traps, you know, my shoulders and neck and the base of my skull, and that disappears. My shoulders drop, my neck feels longer. My sacrum releases. It doesn't hurt to bend over anymore. My joints feel more fluid. I'm in a better mood. I'm less achy. I wake up feeling relaxed. My body feels different to my hands when I touch myself. Wow. And it's like a layer of padding is gone. And like I can immediately feel my waist curve in. And I know I haven't lost enough fat for that to be the issue. So I can really only chalk that up to inflammation going away.
Oh, wow. That's pretty powerful that you feel it.
It is. And I've done so much work paying attention to my body. I think that helps. You know, I've done a lot of mind-body stuff. So I notice that kind of stuff when I am paying attention. And it's not like I'd been walking around feeling, oh my God, I'm so inflamed. But when it went away, it was a really dramatic difference. It's sort of like, have you ever had the experience of having some kind of really annoying noise in the background that you hadn't really noticed, but then it stopped? And then when it stops, you're like, oh, thank God, that had been driving me crazy. That's what it feels like. When the inflammation goes away, I'm like, I've been feeling like a sausage. And I don't anymore.
A packed sausage packed a little bit too tightly.
Yeah, I get that. Exactly. So it's been extraordinary. Do you have any similar kinds of feelings relating to inflammation in your body?
I have to say, probably no. I think the only time I ever generally think the word inflamed come up is really when I eat too much. Like, for instance, you know me, I love my all-you-can-eat buffets. So I went to an all-you-can-eat Indian buffet, and I have to tell you, I ate less than I would normally eat. So that was really good. But
this is good. Every little bit is progress.
Thank you, Catherine. This is why I love you. But I do feel inflammation comes up in my brain when I eat too much, and I literally feel like my entire system has been so overwhelmed, everything grinds to a halt. Nothing's being processed. I can barely have room to, you know what it's like. I have room to breathe. You just feel that heavy, weighted, packed feeling. And yes, you have to go lie down.
Right. Like the Cheeto debacle from Halloween.
Kate, that was so funny. In case you weren't listening in our last podcast, Kate mentioned how she ate Cheetos. And after she ate all of her Cheetos, she had to go recline herself.
For like an hour. Like I was really sick.
The power of Cheetos, man.
Yeah, the power of Cheetos. We will not get them to be our sponsor. That's for sure. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about what inflammation is. It's a word that gets bandied about a lot, especially if you follow any of the more sort of slightly alternative healing paths.
Yes.
So really what it is the body trying to heal itself and defend itself against invaders or damaged tissue. And it's necessary for healing. So inflammation isn't a bad thing, obviously. It's how we heal. It's when it becomes chronic that it's a problem. And there are clear links to name some things you think might be caused by or have inflammation. I'm not going to go with cause. Let's say associated with or related to, and that there's some clear correlation between inflammation and some diseases. Say some stuff.
Wow. I was going to say volume, which I already just talked about. I was going to say things like, let's see, dairy is one that comes to mind.
No, I'm sorry. That's not what I mean. Yes, we're going to get there. But what diseases does it contribute to?
Oh, I'm sorry. I get you. Oh, gosh. Well, let's see.
I've totally put you on the spot.
I have
I'm so sorry.
But this is good because I know it. I've read so much on this. Let's see. I don't know. I can't think of any.
As soon as I say them, you're going to be like, oh, of course. And on the website, by the way, you guys, there's a bunch of links for the references and resources for this episode. We're not going to go into that kind of nitty gritty in the podcast, so you can look stuff up on your own if you want to later. But there is research behind everything we're talking about. So cancer.
Cancer, of course, totally.
Yep. Bone health. Depression.
Isn't there some links to Parkinson's now?
Alzheimer's.
Thank you.
I didn't read Parkinson's, but I did read Alzheimer's.
Nothing
and generally
specific, but there's
dementia.
There's inferences that there's a relationship.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Depression and anger disorders, respiratory issues, clogged arteries, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, periodontitis, and hay fever. Oh, that's my old-timey answering machine that I cannot turn off. So
this is the first time it's happened during a recording.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's your standard message on your phone recording about telemarketers? Tell everyone.
Yeah, I'm like something about if you're not a telemarketer, leave a message, and if you are a telemarketer, please take me off your call list.
I love it.
And they usually hang up right at if you are a telemarketer, and then they stop. But it's a design flaw in my answering machine is you can't turn the volume down. You can turn it off, but you can't turn it down.
Does anyone call while you sleep?
Never happened, but I sleep through the phone. I can have my cell phone next to my bed and I don't notice. I don't hear it.
See, and when I'm inflamed, I don't sleep. When I know that I've eaten too much and my body's cannot simply process, sleep is the first thing to go.
And of course, we do so much of our healing during sleep that it then just makes it worse,
right? It's an awesome combination.
Yeah, totally.
It's also where I am. I teach at a yoga studio. So in the yoga world, inflammation's always bandied about, as you say. And I just love how the words, because people just walk in randomly and they'll be like, in a class, they're like, yeah, I'm so inflamed today. It's so cute.
Well, and I think there's certain kinds of disease where that really is a chronic focal thing, meaning localized.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of us mean it that way.
Exactly. Totally.
Yeah. So the researchers are really careful to point out that correlation isn't causation, though, which means that just because all of those things are correlated with inflammation and we see inflammation in their presence doesn't mean that the inflammation causes it or that they cause the inflammation necessarily. So there's still a lot of work to be done.
Right.
Now, there's some people who are more out there, though that's all pretty much medically agreed upon, everything I just said, I think. But then there's some people who are saying it's even wider than that, including full-on dementia, depression, autism, ADHD, and even aging. There's a big thing about aging now with inflammation. And certain foods and environmental toxins cause this like smoldering inflammation at a low grade that's consistent through the body that degrades our health and mental acuity and lifespan.
Good to know.
I know.
You know that you're saying this. You know what comes to mind? Can I tell you the story? I have to say, like I said, I generally only feel inflammation when I overeat, and aside from the obvious thing when I drink too much. But I was thinking, when I was younger, I do remember this thing of inflammation when I was in school. I would have this really severe, I would have a really immediate reaction to milk when I drank it. And I went to a Catholic school, and so your parents purchased milk to be delivered to your classroom at lunchtime so you could drink it. And you had like 15 minutes to eat your lunch, and then you had to go out for recess. And I never wanted to drink the milk because I always found it disgusting. I never liked the smell of it. And of course, the people that were proctors during the lunch period, they were Nazis about making sure you drank your milk. So I would always take the milk, I put the straw on, I put it up to my lips, but I never drank it. But then like with everyone else, I would just put the milk carton back on the tray. And then
Very
those
clever.
lunch girls would always be like, who didn't finish their milk? And they'd hold the carton up. Who didn't finish their milk? And they would hold everyone inside, keep people from going out to recess on the playground until the person came forward and admitted that they didn't drink their milk. And I never wanted to because I hated it. And when I drank it when I was younger, I would get hives. And I'd tell people, I'm getting hives. And they'd be like, no, you're not.
God.
And then I'd eventually have to come clean because no one wants to hold everyone in every day for recess. And then I'd have to drink my milk.
So you did come clean eventually?
Yeah, I'd have to because it just went on and on. I think literally like after 8 months, my parents were like, all right, we'll stop buying you milk.
I'm surprised that somebody who liked milk didn't just go, yeah, it was mine. I'll just drink that.
Totally right.
Come on, people. It's that Catholic school. Hey, Rick, did you know that free-range, cage-free eggs have 1/3 less cholesterol and 1/4 less saturated fat than regular cage-fed eggs, and also more vitamin E and beta-carotene?
No.
So in addition to the humanitarian reasons to eat those kinds of eggs, free-range, cage-free eggs are actually even healthier for you, much like the grass-fed beef situation.
Nice.
So that's interesting. So hives are certainly a form of inflammation, right? Anytime we see, I guess, redness, that's one of the things.
It's a big indicator, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit allergic to cats, and I volunteer with cats, and so I'll sometimes I have owned cats, yes, and sometimes I'll like snuggle them and put my face in them, basically, and then a little while later, I'll suddenly be like, why does my skin itch and I'm feeling grumpy? I'm agitated. And then I look in the mirror and there's these red splotches all over my neck and my face. And I'm like, oh, okay, histamines or something, or some kind of inflammation. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So what do you think when I say antioxidant? What does that mean to you? It's another word that we hear a lot of, but it's sort of not always clear what it actually means or who cares.
I always associate them with boosters, things that are really helpful with cleansing and healing, and they provide a large amount of sort of nutrients to the system.
Yeah, totally. And when we talk about foods, which we're about to do, foods that are anti-inflammatory foods that help decrease inflammation in the body, because there's foods that make it worse and foods that make it better.
Right.
The reason that they do help is because of these antioxidants, as well as other things like you just said. So minerals and fatty acids are important too. But there's something called free radicals in the body, which I was looking into, which are, why did you say it like that? Do you just hate them?
This is going to sound terrible, and I don't really mean this the way it sounds, but when you go on yoga retreats and you're just into a lot of really heavy yoga teachers, free radical this, free radical that. It's a word that's getting bandied around a lot in the yoga community.
How interesting.
I just sort of laugh because I'm like, I get it. I get free radicals, but I'm like, really? Let's just do the pose.
Yeah. Yeah. It always sounds like a command to me. Free radicals.
Yes.
Like we're supposed to release, whoever's in jail
and then
right
we're stuck
now
in the
for being
70s.
radical. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But free radicals do interesting things with electrons and things. Like I was looking into it. There's some very interesting mechanisms by which they work that we're not going to go into here. But So the antioxidants basically keep the free radicals in check and prevent them from damaging the cells.
Nice. Good to know.
That's basically how it works, and that's why it matters. So the antioxidants donate electrons, blah, blah. So that's why they're helpful. So some of the foods that decrease inflammation. What do you think about these things? I'm just going to throw stuff out, and you just give me a response. Awesome. Fatty fish or fish oil?
I love it, because I have to tell you, when I eat a really good piece of fish, I adore it. I was just in Mexico and was eating a lot of fresh fish. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get a fresh fish every day, I would literally pull it from the ocean, and I can feel the effect in my body right away.
That's so interesting. Yeah, apparently sardines, if you can tolerate those, and anchovies and stuff like that are especially high in those omega-3s. I don't eat fish, so I have to take the pills, but that's okay. Whole grains.
I like them. I feel really good when I eat them. How about you?
Yeah, I like them too. I'm currently not eating them, but I need to talk to my person who I've been guided by on this particular cleanse that I'm doing about putting them back in, and in what, in what ways. Because I think some people really are sensitive to grain, and it's not good for them. And I don't think I'm one of those people. I think when I eat whole grains, healthy, clean grains, I'm fine.
Agreed.
I do great with that. Dark leafy greens.
Ugh. I can't believe how many I eat right now, because I never used to eat the dark leafy greens years ago, but it's a huge change I've made in my diet. So as you know, because we do so much talk about smoothies, I ate a lot of I ate a lot of kale, obviously, and a lot of spinach in my smoothies. I adore them. I feel really good after I eat them right away. Yeah.
Are there other ones you like that are a little less well-known than kale and spinach?
Swiss chard, I like a lot. And
yeah, I love Swiss chard.
What else? Not that I can think of.
Collard greens I really like.
I do love collard greens, but I'm always so frustrated because whenever I try to get them out, they're always soaked in like ham.
Oh, get them from in a restaurant, you mean? Oh, yeah,
Not at like Trader Joe's or anything.
I know. I'm like, I've never had that problem.
Damn, Trader Joe's shoving ham into everything.
Yeah. Mustard greens are really good. They're spicy.
Yes.
They're spicy and delicious. Dandelion greens are more bitter than I prefer, but
we were talking about really dandelion greens because you were eating them at some point.
I did. I ate them.
What are they? Are they actual dandelions?
They are the greens of dandelions. Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, I think I even posted a picture of it on our Facebook page.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, it was a little bitter, but otherwise good. Okay. Yeah, and broccoli rabe. I just posted that today in response to your broccoli rabe picture, which looked way better than mine.
Check out our Facebook page, please.
Yeah.
You won't believe what I ate last night.
Thank you. That's right. Please do. Please do. Please like our page. Please subscribe to this podcast if you don't already subscribe to it.
We're not above
Please
begging.
Tell all your friends.
We don't mind begging.
Beg and plead.
Hey, we also all of our podcasts are now available on YouTube, so check it out on YouTube also.
Yeah, we're going to build more content. So subscribe to the YouTube channel because we're going to get some videos up there and stuff as well. Yeah, good. Thank you. Nuts.
Oh, I love nuts. I try to eat less of them because I eat too many of them. Like, I can't buy a whole can of nuts and have it in the house because I'll eat them all in one setting, but I love them.
Yeah, almonds and walnuts seem to be the ones that have the highest ratings for anti-inflammatory properties and other stuff, but all nuts, I think, in general are good, except peanuts I guess, which
they're
are
the worst.
They're a legume. They're not even a nut, so.
They're a legume.
There you go.
I always
They're
love
a legume.
Will and Grace, Karen would always say it. It's a legume.
I don't remember that. I just saw they just did a tribute to James Burrows, and they had the casts from all those awesome shows that we grew up on and loved so much up there talking. It was really fun.
I just watched it last night. It was so delightful.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
All right, soy.
We'll have to talk about who's had work on their face.
No one. None of them.
None of them. All natural.
Right. We're going to have a running joke about me being like, oh, she's had work.
I'm always like, Kate, do you think Sandra Bullock has had work? And then Kate has this really great thing where she squints her eyes, her jaws get a little more tight, and she's like, mm-hmm. And I don't know if Sandra Bullock's had work. She just came to mind.
I don't either. I actually don't have an opinion to be honest, about whether Sandra Bullock has had work done. But it's when it's apparent that I feel like, oh, yeah.
But Kate's always on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are just a fountain of information, aren't we?
Hey, Rick, what are you into these days?
I am into Grumar, which is just an herb.
To what now?
I've been taking...
You're just making things up.
I'm really not. Grumar. It's an herb.
Is he a guy you met?
And boy, am I into him all the time.
I'm sorry. Gumar? Really? Okay.
Yes. So it's basically this herb that I've been experimenting with, which I think is working. I take it in pill form. You can also get and place a little bit on your tongue, but it's sort of referred to as the sugar killer. That it helps to dissipate the cravings, like literally in the moment that you have for sweetness and desserts and all that fun stuff that I love to eat.
Does it work for sugar cravings that are starch-based, like pasta and pizza dough and that kind of sugar?
Oh, build up over a long time. Like if you add it to any type of mixture that you're taking, like a vitamin mixture or a pill mixture, over time in your system, it can add up to affect those. But like if you're just trying to use it immediately as a present moment thing to solve something, it's really those direct sweet sugars.
It's for
like the ice
sweet
cream.
Sugars.
Yeah. So over time, as it builds up in your system, it can have that effect.
And does it work to staunch the cravings of sweet sugar? Has it worked for you?
I'm going to let you know. But I think so, yeah.
Fascinating.
Because I'm just sort of into it. I agree.
I have never even heard of that. I love that.
Yeah, check it out.
All right. What do you think about soy?
I like soy. I have liked soy in the past. I'm trying to eliminate more soy from my life. I'm trying to really use it as it is meant, as like a condiment, because it really came to our country as like a condiment, something that's supposed to be used as an accent to most dishes. But of course, what does America do? We just create a whole industry around it.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm definitely moving in the fact that less soy is better. Not that it's bad.
Yeah, I agree completely. And it's got all those issues around estrogen and stuff. It's a complex thing. And it's tricky for vegetarians because you're a little more limited in your protein sources.
That's the truth.
I know that's rough. Apparently, the less processed the soy is, the better.
Yeah.
So tofu is good. Edamame, I think, is one of the best because that's the actual soybeans, which are fabulous grilled, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. And somebody just told me they're good roasted as well. So I haven't tried that, but...
Oh, nice. Seitan is the worst. I have that on my list. I was going to ask you about seitan, but seitan is really the worst sort of soy product out there that you can really sort of imbibe.
Isn't seitan wheat gluten, though?
Pretty much, yeah.
I didn't think there was soy in it. I didn't know it was soy
all
also.
super processed, yeah.
Yeah. Super processed. And
I think when I was thinking soy, I was thinking
proteins.
fake meat. Because the big thing about being vegetarian is that people think soy is really high in protein. And it does have protein, but you have to consume so much of it to get the protein. It's not a clean protein source, like say egg whites or fish. Yeah. Or red meat. Yeah.
I would have to eat a lot more calories of tofu than of chicken to get the same amount of protein.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, which is surprising. It's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these have that drawback, which is all these things are great for you, but how much of it do you have to ingest in order for it to be useful? So one of the things on this list is like tart cherries. Particularly tart cherries.
Really?
But you have to drink a cup of juice a day or 1.5 cups of cherries. And that's a lot of sugar.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess a cup of juice isn't that bad, but...
That was in my early days of learning to eat well, where I thought, I'm eating olives. They're super healthy. So I'd eat a ton of olives every day. Not really until I understood they're so packed with sugar.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of sugar.
Oh, I didn't know that about olives.
Yeah.
I know they're packed with salt. I didn't know they were packed with sugar.
I sort of think them as like peanuts, like a small handful of peanuts a day, small handful of olives a day. Good thing.
I don't like them, so I've never had to care, but that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I've known Kate for so long, and she loved all of our conversations about food. To this day, when she still reminds me that she doesn't eat olives, she doesn't eat seafood or fish, And then the other thing was, mushrooms. Yes.
Very good.
I'm always still caught off guard by it. I'm like, what is your problem, Kate DeVore?
I know. It's totally weird.
It is weird. Considering the combination of foods you like, and you're such a, what do you call it? Someone that really loves, you really just love sampling stuff. You're pretty open to just about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the mushrooms, I think, is largely texture as much as anything else. But yeah, totally. All right. What about low-fat dairy, especially yogurt?
I always think it's sort of, we talked about this in our last episode, one of our last episodes, which is, anytime anything's low fat or something's been taken out, something else has been put in. So I never have a good association with it, because in order to get the fat out, to make it low fat, they had to put something else in.
Or that they had to use some kind of chemical to get the fat out or something.
Yeah.
Although I just saw something that somebody just gave me some coconut that was reduced fat, and it said on the bag that the fat was reduced somehow by steam. that somehow they were able to steam the fat out of the coconut. So I don't know. Yeah, but I understand that most of the toxins from cows is in the fat. So if you're eating non-organic yogurt, you should eat non-fat yogurt.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that if you want to have low-fat or full-fat yogurt, it's important that it's organic from grass-fed cows because there's a lot less toxins in that.
Right, of course. Fat. Totally.
Then the other thing, though, is that milk is sometimes on the list of things that cause inflammation, particularly for the large percentage of people who are sensitive to it.
Right.
So,
and for those of us that went to Catholic high school.
Those of us that get hives because of the nuns. Right, exactly.
Those Catholics, we love you.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to whip through some other ones here. Stop me if you hear anything exciting. Peppers. Well, okay, so, first of all, give me a response to peppers, and then I'm going to tell you the weird thing about them.
I adore peppers. I don't really think twice about peppers. I consume when I can.
Yeah, I love them too, and they're supposed to be great for you. So they're a nightshade vegetable, which some doctors and patients can exacerbate inflammation in people who already have rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, okay.
So they're good for inflammation if you don't have RA, but if you already have RA, then they make it worse, apparently.
Okay.
So it really points to the whole thing of there is no one panacea. There's no one thing that is the perfect thing for everyone.
And this comes back to our common theme, Kate, which is this is all about practicing awareness, right? Learning to understand, to really sort of sample with what do you put in your body and how does it react? Because one thing that's an inflammatory thing for you is not going to be inflammatory for someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Tomatoes?
Oh, I can take or leave them. It depends how they're prepared. The smaller they are, the better they are. I don't like those cherry tomatoes because I'm very particular about what I have squirting in my mouth. I know,
all right, I'm just going to move on. Okay, I'm just going to move on.
But I mean that. It's suspicious.
Yeah, but you like tomato sauce.
I do like tomato sauce. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Beets.
Oh, I adore beets. Another thing I never ate a lot of, but I've really come to love in the last several years.
Yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of herbs and spices. Cinnamon apparently is one of the best. And then everything delicious. Ginger, rosemary, turmeric, oregano, cayenne, cloves, and nutmeg.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
All good stuff.
So,
I use them all.
Pumpkin pie spice is a really great anti-inflammatory, actually. And apparently, a sidebar about rosemary, I just learned that, do you know how you might not know this, if you grill meat, the char on the meat is carcinogenic?
I did know that, yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, if you involve rosemary in the cooking of that, then it negates the carcinogenic effect.
Can I tell you why I know that?
Yeah.
Because Kate has known this for my entire life. Or can I remind you why you know that, I should say? It's because I'm a vegetarian and have been for like 15 going on 20 years. And for some reason, whenever there's a barbecue, I am always the guy stuck manning the grill and cooking the meat. And I don't think it's intentional, and I don't think people are thinking, oh, let's put the vegetarian on the grill.
It's because you're so competent.
Probably is, because, yeah, I know how to monitor meat. Because even though I don't eat meat, I know no one wants it overcooked.
Right, and you grew up eating it.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's funny. I'm going to make you come grill soon. All right.
Awesome.
Garlic and onions, olive, which are awesome, of course, olive oil and canola oil. I think possibly grapeseed and coconut oil. Coconut oil, yes. I think grapeseed as well. I'm not sure. Berries, apples. We talked about tart cherries, avocados, broccoli and other crucifers. Broccoli a little bit more than cauliflower because in general, the darker green something is, the better it is.
Right.
But they're pretty similar. And then supplements, although you certainly have to watch out for that. So some of them, like a high dose of beta carotene supplements, can increase lung cancer risk in people who are smokers. And so the recommendation is that you get your antioxidants from your whole foods more than from supplements. Hey, Rick, did you know that carbonated mixers speed up alcohol's rate of absorption into the bloodstream, which amplifies its effect and leads to quicker intoxication?
No. So you mean like tonics?
Tonic and soda, right. So if you have a vodka soda or anything carbonated, it's going to hit you faster than if you have it straight.
Wow, I'm bummed about that.
Why? Do you like those things or not like those things?
Just a wee bit. I do. I was going to ask you a couple things about these foods that increase inflammation. So tell me the first thing you think about when I say these words.
Okay.
Here's your first one. Alcohol.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to be said? We can both sigh.
Yeah, I'm just sighing on that one.
We love a good cocktail, Kate and
I tell you, and that I think is one of the biggest factors in me feeling a big difference is, yeah.
I think all of you should go on the website, send an email to us, get on our mailing list, and tell Kate you want her to invite you over to her house. Because what I love about visiting Kate, she always has a special cocktail prepared. Generally haven't had it before. It's unique and it's super tasty. She knows her liquor as well as she knows her food.
Why, thank you. I do dabble in the mixology.
It's so crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Frozen yogurt.
What? Really?
Yeah, sugar and dairy.
Oh, well, again, the dairy depends,
Yeah.
the sugar and chemicals. That's too bad. I like it enough. I mean, I don't usually eat it, although I make my own, but that's not the same.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Like, I put yogurt and frozen fruit in the Vitamix and then freeze it a little bit and make my own, so. All right. But, okay, that one surprised me.
Okay.
What else?
MSG.
Oh, right. I don't even thoroughly understand MSG or why people put it in their food. I guess it's a flavor booster.
It is a flavor booster, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Because the biggest association I always have with it is Chinese restaurants. And then when you get it without the MSG, it's something I've never liked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's also not as much of a concern because it seems like, there's so many of these fast food Chinese chains that are actually putting out of business real Chinese restaurants. I don't need to worry about it anymore.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Yeah. All right, then. I think it's in a lot of things, though.
Yeah.
MSG, yeah. All right.
What's your feeling on seitan? We talked about it earlier. Is it something you generally like or not?
I really dislike it. There's the only fake meat that I consistently have liked is like a textured vegetable protein somehow. I don't even know what that is, but it's TVP is a thing, I guess. I don't know what it's made of, but you don't like that.
Well,
see, I've liked that.
I do like, here's the trouble. I do like it. Like it's a great thing to put in chili because it just texturizes really well and then it sort of gets lost in it. But again, it's like one of those things that's so processed, right? It's so over processed. And this is the same thing with tofu, is obviously the more processed something is. And that's sort of the problem with a lot of soy milks nowadays. They're just getting more and more processed that they're just not very optimal. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially as someone who does eat meat, there's no reason to eat seitan. As far as I'm concerned, it's fake meat, and it's nowhere near as good. Like, maybe if I was a vegetarian for 15 years and craved that bite, it would be worth it, but I don't know.
Even now, I still, it's something I just move away from. It's not something I'll get because it has to be really good. There's this really great restaurant in New York called Gobo that I adore because they work really well with soy and they work really well with seitan because so much of that is about the texture, how it's prepared, and the flavoring. It's really delightful. And my final one, coming back to my favorite, milk. Do you like milk?
I don't actually drink milk plain. I know we're not really supposed to, right? But I do like it, actually. I don't drink it, but I like it. And then of course, refined carbohydrates, white bread,
grains,
pastries, trans fats,
terrible trans fats,
sugar, processed sugar, soda, that kind of stuff, certain red meats if they're not grass fed. Processed meat. Don't you have a thing about processed meat?
Do I?
Something about lunch meat or something.
Oh, yeah, just how terrible it is. It's really one of the worst things out there because it's not real meat. You think it's real turkey and you think it's real salami, but it's really not.
Yeah, real salami from the little salamis cavorting in the field. Yeah. Yeah, so hot dog, sausages, all that stuff. And bacon is my toxic meat of choice, but still I like all that stuff. Margarine, shortening, lard, gluten for some people, beans. Some people say caffeine, but some people say caffeine is great. So really, again, it all does vary.
Jalapenos. Because of the spice.
Is that on there?
Well, anything that has a lot of spice can be a real inflammation to most people. Like you and I can handle a lot of spice, but I know some people that the minute they get these large amounts of spice in, it immediately inflames their system.
That's so interesting because that's in the pepper section. They said that spicy peppers, it's also like spice is one of the things that some people say decreases it. So once again.
Well, this is that whole thing I think we talk about is when you sense inflammation right away. Like I can eat a tremendous amount of jalapenos and not sense anything, but I have friends who eat a tremendous jalapeno. They can eat 1 or 2 jalapenos and their whole system becomes overwhelmed. And my sister's sort of the same way with tomatoes. She can't eat a lot of tomatoes. right away because she'll start to feel it all the way down her throat into her system. Yeah.
Yeah, well, peppers and tomatoes are both nightshade vegetables, which can cause things for people. It can be an issue, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, I don't usually feel anything I perceive as inflammation instantly. Yeah. For me, it's something that's more of a slow burn.
Right.
Hey, Rick, what are superfoods?
Well, from what I understand, the term superfood is a marketing ploy. But you and I have always talked about this. You use the term, you consider it Popeye food. It's that food you eat and you immediately get a boost, right? And for me, that's quinoa. Like quinoa for me is a superfood. You know, I actually think greens for me are another superfood. Mushrooms are another superfood for me because they're so rich and some really sort of great flavors. What about you?
Yeah, totally. Right. There's certain combinations of things where I do immediately feel like Popeye after I eat them. Lentils, quinoa, greens, cauliflower, I think sometimes.
Right.
So yeah, it kind of is a marketing term. It doesn't have a definition. It's basically food that's nutritionally dense and good for you. So for the most part, if you look at the lists, it's everything we just talked about, plus sweet potatoes and squash seem to find their way on there.
Damn squash.
And a little more fruit. But of course, sometimes it's processed. So it might have arsenic or pesticide or added sugar or something. So acai juice, for example, might be filled with sugar and all that kind of stuff. And fruit has calories, of course. So we need to watch it. Yeah. All right. So basically, we're supposed to eat a largely plant-based diet with a wide variety of fruits, veggies, grains, and healthful animal products.
And this is the whole idea. Don't eat anything processed.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, totally.
It's sort of like when people say, when you're trying to lose weight, you should just eat less. I'm like, yeah. Thanks. Eat less.
I'll try that. Right. I'll try that. Thank you. And it's true. I mean, I do think it's true, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all.
The truth is never helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Please send us your questions or comments. You can email us, or you can also record a little MP3 that we'll put on the show. You can reach us at youwon'tbelievewhatIate@gmail.com, or through our website, youwon'tbelievewhatIate.com, or our Facebook page.
And remember, subscribe on iTunes and YouTube. And please review us. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
Join us next time when we talk about the perception of weight and weight change, personally, professionally, and pop culturally.
Our podcast is supported by the generous donation of people like you. So if you want to support us, please visit patreon.com/YouWon'tBelieveWhatIate to support the podcast. Thanks for listening.